Hello and welcome, bookworms. Welcome to this week's episode of The Contented Narrative. We're looking at Soulforge by Georgia May. And this one is actually written by somebody I know as well. So this is a debut author. So signed by the author to myself. So it goes on my special signed shelves. But yeah, so I worked with her in the same department at my old job. And she sort of like came out and was like, oh, I've written a book. And I was like, okay, you know, I love debut authors. You know, I've done it in the past. I've done Adam Newby, done Teresa Fox. I've done other authors, you know, I love trying to like get their name out there. And so I was like, all right, well then let me buy a copy and let's see what this is all about. Now, this took me a little while to read, but it was not because of the writing. It was because I just didn't have the time. You know, when you pick up a book and then you realise that actually you've got so much going on, you've got so much on your days off, you've got so much when you're working that you've literally not got time to breathe. And that was the mistake I made with this. So if you are going to start this book, make sure you've got time to finish this book, because this book was so much fun. It was so good. So it follows Elder Guild, who is this lovely main character on the front. And she is a pampered princess, but not in the way that she wants to be. So she doesn't want to be a princess. She doesn't want to be pampered. So essentially she knows that the only reason why her dad even remotely shows any interest in her is to build up an alliance with another country. She knows the alliance with the country that she's going to probably end up with. The guy is a brute. The guy is horrible. The guy is like vile. He has a reputation of destroying the women that he marries. She tries to keep escaping the castle to just get out and learn about the world. Like her knowledge is very limited because her dad won't let her read. So she lives a very sheltered and naive life. And then on the day of like when all these princes across the kingdoms were going to propose marriage, and then she got to choose, except she wasn't choosing. She had one choice essentially. The Soulforge steps in. Now the Soulforge is the world's mightiest hero. He has helped, you know, fight back the tides of evil, as it were, and he's had many over the years of as champions. Like, he's had many champions over the years that he's trained. So he realized the only way that he can get her safe and looked after is he proposes marriage. So Elder and the Soulforge end up married, and then it follows their little adventure as they're trying to figure out what's going on in the world. Why has she been picked? So she's training to be a champion. He's slowly drip feeding her his past and his history. He finds out a bit more about his past while he's on the journey with Elder. You know, it's about, and then they've got a Valkyrie with them. They've got a vampire with them. They've got like a demon horse with them. They've got Pegasus with them, and it's just such a great adventure story. And the only downside, right, is the ending. And I have it with great authority from the author herself that the next one is coming out June, July next year. But my God, it ends on a cliffhanger. So if you're one of those, like myself, like Joe, my friend, like Carisha even, like who wants to know what happens straight away, maybe buy it, but hold out until the second one comes out. Because the cliffhanger that it ends on, literally, you're reading, it ends, and then you go, no, where's the rest? Where's the rest of the book? But it is really well written. I know she poured her heart and soul into this book. You know, the characters are well rounded. I mean, there were times when it was over explained. Like there was some descriptions that was like a little bit over explained. Not as bad as Dickens. I don't think anyone could be as bad as Dickens. I think it's like 1.3 pages for a red wall. But you know what? As I started reading, like the natural rhythm of it felt really good. I didn't at any point sit there and go, oh, I've got to pick it back up and carry on reading. I really enjoyed it. I love the storyline. I love the characters. I love the fact that, because what I find, and I've said in previous episodes, is when you have the female character that gets tapped on the shoulder, as it were, and suddenly brilliant at everything, like, you know, can do absolutely everything at the drop of a hat. They don't have this. So she writes Elder, and Elder is good with a bow and arrow because she made her own bow and arrow and she practiced for years. when she starts with the training with the Soul Forge and the Valkyrie, she gets her ass handed to her multiple times. And I love there's a sequence as well where, you know, when you're told when you punch, never tuck your thumb because it will break. And he keeps telling her that, and he keeps saying it's gonna break, and then she's like, no, it's fine, I'm, you know, and then he breaks it, and then she learns to untuck it, and I love that. So that, I think, is what kept me going, because it was showing her becoming the person. And even at the end of the book, she's not 100% brilliant female warrior. She's just so empathetic and so lovely, and she's just willing to put 110% in, and I think that's what endeared me so much to her. But honestly, there's not a lot of smut in it either, so I'm just gonna say, you know, there's not a lot of smut, so we're all good. There's a couple of dirty thoughts, but there's not a lot of smut. But I really did enjoy this. But you know, obviously I'll leave a link in the video, as I normally do, for you guys to purchase it. Let me know what you think below in the comments. Let me know if you're waiting until the next book comes out, like, you know, because obviously, again, I appreciate yeah, when you have cliffhangers that you kind of want to know what the next thing's going to happen. But honestly, I would recommend this book to anyone, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. But make sure you've got yourself set aside a good chunk of time to give it a read, because once you start reading it, you'll get annoyed if you have to keep pulling away from it. But yeah, but thank you so much for your continued support with my channel. I'm hoping that I crack 300 subscribers by the end of the year. We're very close, so hopefully we can get there. But again, thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Like, you know, I make these videos, but I wouldn't be anything without you guys watching it, leaving your comments, leaving your likes, and sharing the videos around with your friends and family. So thank you so much, and remember to always keep it contento.